Didn't think I'd be talking about this 12 days from LSU's opener, but Ed Ogeron was a guest on Pardon My Take on Barstool, and he's made a few headlines. He said this.
Yeah, I think it's time. I'm feeling it a little bit. I haven't made the decision totally, but, I got my boys settled, coaching football now, and it's been 4 years since I've been out, and I'm getting the itch again.
So, Coach O said he's getting the itch to coach again. I know where a lot of you think I'm going to go with this, but I'm not, actually. I think that if Coach Ogeron wants to coach again, he absolutely should and absolutely will. The question, though, is where and in what capacity. Because there's a sliding scale of weighing risk-reward with every hire. And that's not just in coaching. That's in everything. As the program director here and publisher at LouisianaSports.net, I get to hire people all the time. And sometimes if I'm hiring a weekend board op, you just need someone who's reliable and will show up. You hire them. And if they don't show up, you fire them. And then you'll give someone else a chance. If you're hiring like C-level management or a head football coach at a Power 4 institution, you're going to be a little more diligent with your decision-making. So I don't believe Ed Ogeron will ever be a major Power 4 head coach again. He's 64 years old, and it went very badly at the end with LSU. And not just on the field, but the off-the-field stuff. You got to remember there were the Title IX implications, the federal lawsuit with the federal Title IX implications. There was, obviously, the on-field stuff. And then there's just a lot of what's transpired on social media that's generally not a good look for a major college football head coach. A lot of that factored into the decision to fire him at LSU. And a lot of that is why he's not going to ever get a major Power 4 head coaching opportunity again. But I do think that if Ed Ogeron wanted to be a defensive line coach at the major college level or in the NFL, remember he was the Saints defensive line coach in 2008, I think that is an absolute no-brainer. Just for the opportunity in college to have one of the most dynamic recruiters ever, like one of the most dynamic recruiters, full stop, on your staff, and one of the most accomplished technical defensive line coaches ever, full stop, on your staff, major coup, huge win. Like, of course, any program in America would hire Ed Ogeron as their defensive line coach, recruiting coordinator. Of course, yes, in a millisecond. Same with the NFL. I mean, there are no staff limits in the NFL. So any team could bring him on as a D-line coach, assistant D-line coach, whatever. And I do believe that there are G5 and maybe lower Power 4 schools that might take a look at him as a head coach. You'd be talking about, like, the bottom of the barrel, though. I think about Kansas hiring Les Miles. It was like a similar hire like that, where there was a lot of notoriety, a coach that had great name recognition, brand recognition, and won a head coach. It was not going to be a long-term thing. It was just come in, infuse some life, build a foundation, make us better for the next guy, which actually did happen. Now, Les exited unceremoniously at KU, but, the transgressions at LSU or the allegations at LSU got him fired at Kansas. But it was a much better situation that Lance Leipold stepped into. And I look at other coaches that were major power head coaches that were out of the game that got an opportunity to get back in at a lower level. Dan Mullen's doing it right now. Dan Mullen coached at State, then at Florida. He was out for 3 years. Now he's back in as the head coach at UNLV. And that's not a terrible job. Like, UNLV in the NIL era is committing resources into their football program to try to be a really good G5 program. Larry Coker was a national championship winning head coach. He drove the Miami bus right off a cliff and was out of coaching and then got back in at UTSA. Terry Bowden was in TV for 10 years after he got fired at Auburn, then got hired at Akron, and then was a coach at ULM. So, I think for a G5 program looking to bring some notoriety, some name recognition, it's not that dissimilar from Jackson State hiring Deion or Norfolk State hiring Michael Vick. I mean, those guys, UAB hiring Trent Dilfer. Those guys aren't being hired because they're great coaches. They're being hired because they bring great notoriety and attention to the program. Now, the thing I've always said about Deion is Deion got the job at Jackson State because he's Deion Sanders. Deion got the job at Colorado because he can actually really coach. And I think he's shown that out and will continue to do so. I just don't know if Ed Orgeron wants to go be a G5 coach somewhere just to be a head coach again, or if he would rather get back in as a defensive line coach, recruiting coordinator. And that just makes a lot of sense. Position coaches make a lot of money. All you have to do is coach ball and recruit, and you're out of the spotlight. You don't have all the pressure that goes along with being the head coach, not only with the wins and losses, but also some of the off-the-field stuff. I mean, I don't want to mischaracterize it, but a lot of the stuff that reflected negatively on Coach O at the end at LSU were, like the photo in bed with the woman that went viral, and the conversation at the fishing camp with the women he invited up, and then threatening the male students that kind of jawed with him a little bit. Those are the types of things on social media that get spread out there, and you can't do that as a major head coach. It's always in the spotlight. So go be a position coach. Make $750,000. Coach ball and don't have that spotlight. I mean, that seems like a no-brainer of a situation for a guy like Ed Orgeron. But it'll be fascinating. Told the other guys, pardon my take, that he's getting the itch. He's got two of his sons are coaching in Miami. One son is on staff at Tulane. And we'll see. Look, his buyout at LSU was $17 million. I have no idea what he did with that money. I would assume he's set. I would assume he's set financially for his life and hopefully for his kids' lives and all that sort of stuff. But I have no idea. So in any event, Coach O says he wants to coach again, and someone would be right to give him a shot as a G5 head coach or as a major college or NFL defensive line coach. We'll follow it and see what opportunities may arise, but it ain't going to happen right now because you're on the brink of a season, and it's unlikely someone would bring him in right now. So at the earliest, it would feel like after this season, as you get to the next coaching carousel cycle, maybe that would be the time. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.